How you doing?
Yo.
Welcome back to Leather Helmet Fandom Podcast. Today you'll be joined by myself, Caleb Consman, and
Josh Conlon.
As always, we're here again. Another week down. Bad week, at least for me. I don't know how about you, Josh?
Still in the negative for me.
Still in the negative. So I actually had a horrible week. Before we jump into that, and week 5. Let's just go straight over to the wheel of death, the wheel of.
Oh, you just want to go right in?
Yeah, let's just spin right into it.
So Caleb took another L this week.
Negative 29, bro.
Negative 29 units. Setting records out here, but I went negative 2, so not a great week overall at the Leather Helmet Fandom. I went negative 6. So overall on the NFL career so far in 2021, I'm at plus 17.4, and Caleb's at a whopping negative 33.5. So we're going to look to bounce back after some rough weeks. But before all that said, we're going to right into the punishment wheel with the loser of the week, Caleb Consman. So let's switch over to that. So let's see what we got here. Spin it, boy. I think I took yours out. Yep. All right. We got fantasy hypocrisy. All right, so you got to
explain that a little bit.
So the way this one works is you got to pick one starter from your fantasy team, and you got to bet the under on them.
One starter from my fantasy team?
Your fantasy team. That's why it's hypocrisy.
Oh, that is fun. See, I thought you said last time just like your most
that's a
hated
different
person, but
that's a different one. That's a hated.
I feel like it's got to be like your best projected player. You got to take the under. Because then you're basically saying my best player, besides a quarterback, my best player is going to shit the bed. Right?
I mean, if I was doing it personally, I'd probably take the under on my QB's yardage just because that doesn't relate too much to fantasy, so I can feel good about rooting for both. Because otherwise, you're going to be rooting against. Yeah.
But I can pick any one of my.
It's got to be a starter. Anybody on your fantasy team
that I'm starting this week.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I could see this happening. So let's take Najee Harris under, which is
under rushing.
No, we're gonna say receiving because I don't think he's gonna do much rushing regardless. So it's kind of like a.
So you're doing under receiving?
Oh, this is actually me betting, so I kind of want this to happen, eh? Yeah, we'll do under rushing because I know it'll probably happen, and he can actually get me more fantasy points receiving than rushing nowadays. With how bad the offensive line is.
Let's see what DraftKings got for you.
Yeah, you're going to have to pull it up on draft.
So you got Najee under 53.5 rushing yards, or we have... So reception yardage is actually not out yet for him.
All right,
so do you want to take... Rushing. Or do you want to do longest rush?
Nah, let's do 53.5. I would like to see a long rush.
All right, so under 53.5, negative 115. All right, so he's going to throw 1 unit on that. So see how... Maybe his luck will turn around, you know? I mean, sometimes... When you bet against people that you normally wouldn't, it turns out well for you.
Yeah, but I also wouldn't bet for it either. I don't think you would be going positive. I mean, obviously, it's shitty for me because he's on my fantasy. But like I said, I think he's going to give me more points in receiving from here on out than he will in rushing just because offensive line. But that's what we're going to go with. That's
like
a good one.
Barkley,
don't got to do anything crazy.
2.0. All right. So getting into this week 5, the NFL. Getting right onto our new bets.
Real fast
new and better.
We go into
what
the
are
new
we
ones.
doing? Are we going over notes?
The last week's my lock, I believe, was Saints minus.
We don't need this beer.
7, I think, something like that. Let me see exactly what it was.
You talk about last week's bets. Some of your misses.
No, my lock of the week. It was like Saints.
Oh, Saints negative 2.5. No, negative 4.5 first half.
Yeah.
And they were actually down in the first half.
Yeah, so they just completely let me down. But then you also have, who do they play, though? That's the thing. There was one team that screwed me hard as shit. They didn't.
I mean, your lock screwed you up to begin with, and then you had negative 10 units to start after that, remember?
All I know is Kareem Hunt missed. He got it on the hook, so he got 18 receiving yards and 2 receptions. So that was automatically 4 units there. I lost it on the hook. There's nothing you can do much about that. Buccaneers completely shit the bed. They should have covered. I had 2 covers on them. I had at minus 5.5, and then I had at minus 6.5. and that was your lock. Obviously, that took an L.
That was a
but
unexpected.
There was another big one. I think it was
Brady
whatever.
Looked like a beach.
I think it was Saints. It might have been Saints or it was Chiefs. One of the two.
Yeah, it's definitely Saints you're talking about.
Yeah, but one of the two games. It was the Chiefs game. So the Eagles shouldn't have gotten a touchdown, but they gave them a touchdown. Or it was the Chiefs should have got a touchdown, but didn't get the touchdown. I think it was the other way around. I think the Eagles got a touchdown. Yeah, I had a spread at like -2.5 for the Chiefs, and they would have went into the quarter like +7 or something like that, or +3, one of the two, and they gave the Eagles a touchdown. I forget exactly what it was, but it was some bullshit. So that would have gave me another fucking 2 units, and then I probably wouldn't have been so ugly, even though obviously I took a huge L in the beginning on Thursday night football where it was like a -11, so I was already in the hole. But we're gonna try to bounce back, do a little bit better this week. What do you want to get started off with?
I'll just you mean like spreads, props, and all that? Let's just start with spreads, just because game's about to start, so I want to get that out there since I got my Thursday night game. Just so I lock it in. I'm not cheating. I'm not waiting for that first Rams touchdown. So I got Rams -2.5 spread for the full game versus Seahawks tonight at -105. I think the Rams offense is just too electric.
I also
against
have this too.
The Seahawks defense. And Wilson hasn't had as much success versus the Rams in the past few years, as you noted earlier on his prop bet that we'll go over. But yeah, so I really like the Rams to control this game, especially coming off of a tough loss when they were the favored over the Cardinals. I think they still are one of the best, if not the best, NFC contender, them and the Bucs. So I see them bring it to the Seahawks at their home stadium, quieting the crowd and just showing up. McVay's going to do his thing, scheme it up, lock down the I think a Lockett actually will have a decent game in the slant, but I think they'll lock down Metcalf, and without Carson, I think Alex Collins, I mean, he might have an okay game, but he's just going to struggle to really get going and get good yards per carry. How you feeling?
So, yeah, I got...
I got that at, what's it called? I forgot to put units down, but I just have that at 1 unit for them.
So I also have Rams at -2.5 at 1 unit. Basically for everything you stated, but also just because I think the Rams are coming off bounce off of their loss. I just can't see them coming out and losing 2 in a row. And when you get at -2.5, all they got to do is win by a field goal. Obviously, it could still happen where you get the hook and it's 2 or 1 or something like that. But either way, I can see them easily winning.
Do you think
you talked about Metcalf having a good game?
No, I said bad.
Oh, you said bad?
I think Lockett's going to have a good game.
Okay, so I believe that as well, and I'm just going to jump, since it's the same game, into prop for this.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I got DK Metcalf on under 70.5. I think both times last year he was like under 30 yards, 40 yards, and obviously Ramsey probably locked him down and shut him down. So they're probably going to do that again, knowing if you shut down Metcalf and you just contain Lockett, then you should probably be good, especially since Carson's out. Obviously, you got to make sure the nickel stays on Russell, too, because we all know what he can do with his legs. But I'm going to take DK Metcalf on the under. And then 2 other prop bets I got for this game. Russell Wilson under 24.5 pass completions. I'm taking this at 5 units. I forgot. DK Metcalf, 1 unit. I'm taking Russell Wilson under 24.5 completions at 5 units.
A lot. It's risky, but I like it.
I don't know all the stats, but I looked back into it, and how many times he's gone over on this is very, very little compared to his under. So if you want to do some research, obviously it's going to be too late
I noticed, I did a little bit of research, just specifically versus the Rams, and he's only went over this 1 in his last 10 games versus the Rams. So you're talking like 4 years versus the Rams, and he hasn't hit this. And the Rams are, I think, the best they've ever been on defense right now.
And it's divisional. It's Thursday night, so it's going to be not low scoring, but it's...
That's all I was going to say. Do you think this is going to be a high scoring game? Because I feel like every primetime game has been really good so far, and there hasn't been that like letdown defensive game. Not really letdown, but just less exciting.
Well, Jaguars and Bengals kind of sucks, but...
Yeah, but it's still close. I mean, it almost went to overtime and all that. I just feel like it was exciting games, and I feel like this is drawn out to be a high scoring game and a close game. but in reality, it could be the exact opposite.
I think it's going to be like right in the middle, like 40,
right in the 40s,
45-ish.
So you think it's going to be a close game?
Close by what? Like, I would say probably a 5-point game.
So it's always going to be like a one-possession game or less?
Yeah. Not always, but I think it will end like that. Someone could obviously make a comeback because they're both talented offensive teams. But I'm going to take 5 units there. So the total together, that's 7 units. And the last
game. Here we go.
On this game. And then the last.
Find out in the middle of the cast.
Well, I fucking
start off -10.
I failed super hard last time Thursday, so I got to try to bounce back on this Thursday and just keep bouncing back over and over and over. So the last prop I'm going to take for tonight's game is Matthew Stafford to have 1+ passing TD in each half.
What they give you odds for that?
They gave me +100.
Okay, that's pretty good. Actually,
it's really good. I just hope it doesn't turn into a rush on one half and then like 3 passing TDs on the second half. That would be the only shitty part of it. But I'm going to take that at 1 unit. Obviously, I don't think
he's second so far in the league. Yeah, he's got 11 touchdowns so far. He's only behind Mahomes at 14.
And we all know how much Cup's been popping off. We all know what Woods can do.
And Higbee's a good target.
Higbee's back. He was questionable, but he's playing.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. So you have that and just like 2 very good wide receivers.
Sean Jackson.
Jackson going deep. You could get. So I could just easily see them getting, not easily, but I could definitely see him getting 1+ passing TD in each half. So I'm going to take that at 1 unit. So a total of 6, 7, 8 units for tonight. All right.
You got
any other ones besides spread?
For tonight? No, that's it for tonight. Let me just double check, but I'm almost 100% sure. Yeah, I don't got anybody tonight.
All right. Well, you want to run over some more spreads? Do you have any more spreads?
Even though I'm not going to put it on my record, but I'm definitely tallying tailing the Wilson bet. Got a couple units on under for myself. Yeah.
Not going to put it on it, but you're going to place it?
Yeah, it's my own personal bet. I'm following you. This isn't my record.
Come on, you got to put it on your record. What is
no, because I'm not doubling. We don't double down. I don't take your prop bets on. I can't just take yours.
I mean, I took your spread, but it's not because you told me. I just think the Rams are going to cover. But all right, well, let's get into some more spreads. I only got 2 more.
Yeah, I only got 1 more. So I just got the Cowboys -6.5 versus the Giants. I think the spread keeps moving towards the Cowboys, so it might end at like 7.5. So I would just take the alternate as long as it's like -140 odds or better. I still think it's a really good bet. Even though it's a divisional game, I think the Cowboys are a lot better team.
Yeah, they're looking like the top 3 team, I would say, right now.
Yeah,
sure.
People are definitely hyping them up, and they kind of deserve it. I mean, they've always had the talent. It's just really coming together on the defensive side, especially with Micah Parsons. I think I pronounced that right. Playing on the end versus the inside linebacker. I think he's just putting a lot more pressure on the opponent QBs, and I think because of that, you're getting a lot more interceptions from like Trayvon Diggs and stuff. So I think they'll be able to put pressure. Daniel Jones isn't the best under pressure, and he also doesn't have Sterling Shepard. He doesn't have Slayton. Galladay's been fighting through a hip injury.
He loves to fumble.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just, I mean, he's doing a lot better at fumbling, but it's just set up for not success for the Giants, and they're going to be struggling to stay in the game with a Cowboys offense that's, I don't know if they're leading the league, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're leading the league in like pass yards and just overall points.
Might be, yeah.
So look for that to continue and just them to, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even mind taking the over. I don't have it down, but I would take the over 2 at 1 unit if it wasn't something crazy like
probably
over
like 55, 56.
Yeah, if it's that high, I wouldn't probably take it because that's pushing it with the Giants, hoping to still put up points. But either way, Cowboys are gonna seal this game away. Pretty confident in this one, but I'm still only gonna put 1 unit just because I got some other ones I like more.
All right, well, I got 2 spreads, and real fast, just to answer your question, they got 52. So actually, it's pretty low. I feel like might be able to get the over on that for the Cowboys.
Yeah, as long as they don't blow them out, which
yep, it could happen. My last 2 spreads are Saints -2.5. Took their obviously at my lock last week at the first half, but we all kind of don't really know what the fuck they are right now. It's kind of like what are you guys doing? Like, how are you guys not winning games? I feel like they should be winning games.
Yeah.
But I also feel like they're misusing Kamara. Like, my man had like 20-something rushing attempts and had like 120 rushing yards and no catches, no targets at all. Targets, yeah. That is very odd. I think it was his first time not getting targeted in his career, which is crazy. So I think they're going to use him a little bit more and not choke at that red zone and actually get some plays.
Who do they play this week? The Saints?
They play Washington football team. Their defense is obviously haven't looked good. I thought they're going to be great this year, but they just
Saints
have not been
defense looks
showing
really
up.
good.
Yeah, Saints defense. Lattimore's back, so look out for that. I don't think he was in last game.
I think he played most last game. It might have been his first game back, but
he was questionable, but he's now playing full time at practice, so he'll be in. So I could easily see them taking this game. So I'm gonna take it at -2.5. And then my last spread is the Chargers playing the Browns, the dirty old Browns. -2, taking Chargers.
Oh,
both of these spreads I got at 1 unit. Both of these spreads taking at 1 unit. I think Chargers are elite. I love their high-flying offense. It just looks amazing. It's fun to watch. Always, like, no matter what. Herbert makes, like, maybe one mistake, maybe two mistakes a game, and that's pretty much about it. So as long as he doesn't fall under the pressure of their, like, front seven, then I could see him easily winning this game. So I'm just going to take that at 1 unit, and then you have 2 units. So that is Chargers -2, Saints -2. Want to jump right into over-unders? I only have one.
Yeah, sure. So I got the Jets and Falcons. I got the over in this game at 45.5. I just think it should be a close game. So usually closer games are more inclined to go over.
It's pretty low already.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely on the lower side for an over-under. But I think it's close game usually pushes for the over just because they're fighting for that last possession or last touchdown. And then also, I think the Jets, Zach Wilson, rookie QB, looks like he's actually gaining a lot more chemistry now, and he's gaining a comfortability and confidence in his game. So you can see him going for more shots downfield. He's really extending plays and just trying to be like competitive in the game. He's not like, oh, we're going to lose every game. They just upset the Titans, so they're riding high off of that. If you watch some of his game footage, it just looks like this dude has the potential. Not saying he will be Mahomes, but he has that talent in his arm strength. Like, he's just a pure, like, oh, I can run to the side and throw a perfect dime straight without it, like, being veered off or anything in a great spiral. So I just think he's going to do a lot on offense. Not that he has the best offensive weapons, but he has capable guys. Crowder's back, and he looked pretty good in his debut. He had a touchdown, I think, and like 6 receptions. I think also both have pretty poor defenses. I mean, Jets aren't awful, but they're mediocre to poor. So just both having good weapons on each side and both having, honestly, teams that they're really not playing for anything specific. They don't think they're going to make the playoffs, so they're kind of just going to shoot out, not really care too much about their career. Well, I wouldn't say that. Wilson cares about his career. Matt Ryan, on the other hand, probably doesn't care too much at this point.
Definitely not.
Like, he's just throwing.
He's in it for the money.
Yeah.
For sure.
But at the same time, that can lead to somewhat good, like kind of like a Fitzpatrick kind of a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's just more in it to enjoy it / the money. So
I think
he's not going to worry too much about making
though.
mistakes. Like, if he makes mistakes, like, he's not going to be like, oh, yeah, everyone hates me. I threw an interception. Like, he don't care.
Exactly, and I think that's why he's just in it for more for the money. I think Fitz is like, I want to win. Like, I don't care if I don't make it a Super Bowl. I just want to win. Like, he has the heart of, like...
Yeah. He just enjoys competition.
Yeah. All right, well, you got any other over-unders?
Yeah, I got one other one. I got the Cardinals 49ers. So I got this at the under at 49.5. Mainly just because I think the 49ers
looking like doo-doo.
Keeping majority of the games under this year, and they just look really good on defense. Specifically, they like lock down the tight end. Not that means much for the Cardinals, even though Max Williams has been going off. But I'll speak more on that a little bit into the prop section. But yeah, I just think they've been not locked down, but really controlling the QB and putting a lot of pressure on him. And on the opposite side of that, their rush defense hasn't been the best. So teams are really trying to take advantage of that. And I think the Cardinals are coming off a high. They just beat the Rams. People are overhyping them because they I thought the Cowboys are leading, but the Cardinals definitely are leading in points and yardage.
That's the other person I was thinking about, them and Rams.
But with all that said, the 49ers are going to run the ball as much as possible, so they're going to take a lot of time off the clock.
That's a good
as much as possible. So less time for Kyler to score, and I also think Kyler will struggle a little bit. He'll be running out of the pocket, which he does well.
Also might be Trey Lance's first rookie start, like full start.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Trey Lance could struggle, even though I think he'll rush the ball a decent amount, which is, again, a good thing. He'll at least move the ball down the field and kill time out more. I am really interested to see how he does, though. That's a game.
It's going to be a tough defense to do it against, that's for sure.
You say that, but at the same time, Cardinals have let up a lot of rushing yards this year. Probably more because...
I'm not just talking about rushing. I'm just talking about his arm. If, like, he shits the bed, like, if he gets pressure. We all know Chandler Jones, and we all know J.J. Watt can get in there, but...
Yeah.
I haven't watched him recently.
He still looks pretty good. I mean, he might struggle in the game, but if you have him in fantasy, I would definitely be starting him. Like, my man's could be elite or a league winner this year just because of how much he can put up. Trey Lance.
Okay. Yeah.
Put up like 21
points
picked
him up.
Fantasy in like, I don't know, a half a football game.
But that's the thing is I don't think you can take that and then times it by 4, times it by 2. I don't think that's how it works.
But I think he'll be like a Jalen Hurts, if not a little bit better, which he's been doing good too. But yeah, so I have them at the under, mainly just because I have a lot more faith in the 49ers defense and not as much faith in the Cardinals offense to be consistently explosive.
All right, well, I got one over and under. I'm taking it over 39.5. I'm only taking it because that is super low. All they need is really 20 points each.
What game is this?
Texans versus Patriots. Obviously, I understand because they got blown out 40-0 coming from the Bills game. But I still think, like, regardless of how shitty they are, I think if Patriots get the lead and this dude's just slinging balls left and right, or they're just doing whatever they want to because they know they're going to lose the game, then it's like there's no way they're at least going to get like 14 points or 13 points. Like, I just feel like there's no way.
So you think it's more like garbage time?
Yeah, more garbage time that they're going to get towards the end of the game. And I could easily see Patriots getting like 28 points in this game, 27 points, something like that. And then all they really got to do is just get, 14 points, 13 points, something like that. So I easily see it going over. 39.5 is very, very low for NFL. But obviously we know that Patriots defense has been looking good.
Yeah.
Even though they just did a stupid trade, but whatever. Obviously it was because of their cap. But I think it's just easily going to go over the 39.5. If it doesn't, it doesn't, because I'm only laying one unit on it. So.
Oh, did I put my units out?
I don't think you did.
Yes, I have one unit for each of my over-unders. So far, all my bets, 1 units.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think I would take away from this whole doing this is never putting a lock on an over-under again. I'm fucking done with that shit. I'm going to leave it at 1 unit my entire rest of the time because you never know how a game script is going to randomly change in 2 seconds. So I'm good with that stuff. Let's move on right at the props. I don't really have much just because on FanDuel there's not really much open, but you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Ride or die. It's ride or die season. We got Clyde going under 14.5 for his longest rush. 2-2 so far. 2 losing streaks. So it's time. It's time. I mean, statistics would say he had 2 wins, 2 losses. He usually doesn't do this, so he's gonna not do it again. But with all that said, the Bills' defense is really stout against the running game. They've only allowed an average of 60 yards to everyone rushing, the whole team, that is, not just one running back. So between all the running backs and the QBs, they've only averaged 60 yards rushing to all of them, and never over 70 yards. And all these people, like the Bills have played pretty good running backs. So with all that said, Clyde, slow boy, little midget, he's not going to pull through. He's going to get me that W. I got 2 units on that for the Clyde under 14.5 longest rush, and I'm going to double down on Clyde. I got Clyde under 51.5 rushing yards also. That one I only have at 1 unit.
Who do they play again? Bills, right?
Bills, yeah. So I really, really like the Bills defense. They look really good, and I think Clyde's just not going to show up against a defense that's probably top 3, if not. I mean, really only behind Bucks in rush defense, but overall defense, they're like top 3.
Now, if Clyde screws up this week, are you gonna keep?
Yeah,
riding it?
We're going all year, and we're gonna
God.
see what it ends because it's gonna end positive.
All right, I could rock with it. One person I want to start off with, just give some props to the hometown team, is DJ Moore under 85.5 receiving yards. I love the Eagles corners this year with Slay and Nelson. And regardless of what side Moore goes on, even though I know he's been getting targeted like a motherfucker between who's Ghost Boy, their quarterback, Panthers.
Sam
Darnold. Even though he's been targeting him like crazy and Moore's been going off, I can easily see them locking down. Slay won't let shit happen on his side and come to Nelson. He's just going to bounce right back to Slay's side.
Are you taking it under?
I'm taking his under 85.5.
Oh, wow, that's high.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Say 85, right?
85.5. Like I said, he's been popping off, so that's why they put it at that. But obviously, they're not giving the respect to the Eagles cornerbacks. Maybe he plays some slot shit more than I know. But
does what's his name usually shadow a lot? Like follow guys?
Nelson?
No, not Nelson. Nelson honestly got beat a few times. Slay.
Yeah, I would say he definitely does. I haven't watched most of it, but I know his stats, and he locks down motherfuckers like crazy. So I'm gonna take that one, and then just one other one is Chris Godwin over 64.5 yards. Evans had it. This is how I look at the Buccaneers wide receivers. They just split all their yardage, and they split it between games. And last week, Evans had his yardage like crazy. Obviously, we have Gronk out again for the second week in a row. Bernard, Gerald, their running back.
Who are you looking at?
The Bengals' old running back. He went over to Bucks.
Oh, Gio Bernard.
Gio Bernard is questionable. He was limited to practice, so if he's out too, you can see Godwin's numbers going up too. So I'm just going to take it with Gronk being out and Evans getting most of the workload last week. I'm going to take Godwin's over 64.5. It's not that high, to be honest. I could see Godwin doing it.
Yeah.
I didn't really like anyone else's over-under in that game, but I wanted to take one from them. So I'm going to easily take Godwin's.
I wonder if, like, I feel like
that's 1 unit.
Whenever Godwin has a good game, Antonio Brown doesn't have a good game, or whenever Antonio Brown has a good game.
So that's what I'm saying.
I feel like
they split
like,
games. It's really weird. It's not even just them. It's like Evans too. Like sometimes that's why Evans so up and down because when Evans doesn't, then like one of the other.
But I feel like Evans could have a good game and Godwin can have a good game. I just feel like I've never seen Brown and Godwin. I mean, they could have okay games, but never have like
together.
Yeah.
Especially
it's never like a Juju and Antonio Brown type of.
And with Gronk being out, I think it's going to just spread the ball a lot more, especially since I feel like Brady always looks to him when he needs the help. He always looks to Gronk, but he's obviously not going to have him, so now he's going to hopefully pass to him. Yeah. I never realized Gio Bernard or whatever his name is gets like 12 targets, at least last week. The last week he played, he had like 12 targets. Like, what the fuck, dude? Why are you getting such high targets? But it's whatevs. You want to jump in another one of your props? I don't know if you have any more.
Yeah, I got a bunch more.
All right, sweet.
So one that I couldn't get in on any sportsbook because it's not out yet. I'll probably wait till his questionable tag is off and he's actually playing. But I really like it a lot as long as it's not. I would say the lowest. So it's Antonio Gibson of the Washington football team. I want his under rushing. I would say the lowest. Wait, what did I do? The lowest then? Yeah. So the lowest I would go is, I don't know. I would say like high 50s. So like let's say like 57 or higher. I would take the under on. The Saints coming off a loss. I think those have a better offense. And Gibson although he is an explosive player, I don't think the team's rushing game is very explosive. Gibson's one tough matchup. He really hasn't had any tough matchups in the rushing game yet. But his one tough matchup for the Bills, he only averaged 2.5 yards per carry. Saints have been one of the top rush defenses. So I really see them just handling him and keeping him to a really small yards per carry. He might have one explosive play that pushes him over, but that's the only way it's really going to hit. When he played the Bills, he had one explosive play, but it was a reception for like 70 yards that he was able to break away on. But I think the Saints are even honestly better than the Bills when it comes to specifically rush defense. Like, they really locked down running backs this year. Oh, yeah, so like I think we both have the under for the next game versus the Eagles and the Panthers. I got Devontae Smith under 60.5 receiving yards. I think he's a decent player, but I think he's overhyped. Even though he's getting hyper-targeted by Jalen Hurts, I don't think he's that good of a player. The Panthers' path rush, I think, is real. They have one of the most leading sacks in team-wise. I think they're at like 13 so far in the year. They did come back down to reality a little bit when they lost to the Cowboys against a good offensive line. But I still think they have enough pass rush to push through the Eagles and really put pressure on Jalen Hurts to knock it out a long ball. Back on Devontae Smith, he really shined only in 2 games versus poor secondaries, such as the Lions. When he was playing top half secondaries, like not even the best, just like the top half of the NFL or just defenses in general, he hasn't even gone over 30 yards.
That's crazy.
I really don't think he's going to have that big of a game. My only concern is the hyper-targeting. Like, if they hyper-target him and he gets 6 yards a catch, there's a good chance he might get in the 50s. But I have his under 16.5 receiving yards, 1 unit. Back on the Gibson bet, that's obviously you can't place it yet. I would just stick to 1 unit, even though I would be more comfortable the higher the number. If it gets up into the 70s or 80s or something insane, like, yeah, I'd put more on it. But just stick to 1 unit for Gibson. One thing, you took the over, so there's a little contradicting here. One of us will probably win and the other will lose.
Took the over for what?
I don't think we'll both win. You took the over for the Patriots, correct?
Right.
And the Texans.
Right.
So I have Brandon Cooks under 65 receiving yards. I just think Mills is going to continue to struggle. I mean, I don't think it's all his fault. I mean, he's definitely he's like a normal bad backup QB that barely deserves to start in an NFL game. But you're playing the Patriots defense, and Bill Belichick is one of the best coaches against rookie QBs, so he's going to put a lot of pressure on him, make him struggle, maybe even worse than the Bills made him struggle, which is going to be sad to watch. So that contradicts. I highly doubt we'll both hit between your over and my under, but maybe it will.
What, 1?
Yeah, I only got 1 unit on that, but Brandon Cooks under 65 reception yards. It was dropping. I started at 67, so hopefully it doesn't go below 60. If it does, I would not take it.
Just because you don't like it, or just because you think it's going to be between 60 and 65?
Just because I think getting down in the 60s, he's another hyper-targeted guy. Like, there's not really guys there between Devontae Smith and Brandon Cooks. They're both hyper-targeted. Brandon Cooks even more because they don't, like, their tight ends even are trash. Like, but without the targets and garbage time, there's no reason this should go under. All right, moving on to the next one, since I got a few more I want to run through. Hunt over 45.5 rush yards. I got 1 unit on that. They're playing the Chargers, who are allowing the 4th most rushing yards this season. Browns, I think, will lean on the running game with a lot of their wide receivers struggling. OBJ had like 20-some yards. Higgins was their leading receiver. Landry's out. None of their tight ends are like game killers. They're not going to stretch the field. So I think they'll rely on their run game and really try to keep it a low-scoring game as much as possible. And Hunt is just one of the best explosive running backs. So when you put him against a poor rush defense, he's going to get a lot of, even if he doesn't get a lot of attempts, as long as he gets 10 rushing attempts, which he's been averaging more than that last 3 games, I think he'll easily hit the 45.
If he's getting like 50, how much do you think Chubb's going to get then?
They have Chubb at 85.
Ooh, I'm nice with it.
Yeah,
That's it.
But I I mean, he could hit that too, but I'd rather take the lower end of that just because Hunt's getting only like 3 or 4 less carries. So moving on, Max Williams of the Arizona Cardinals. I'm taking the under 27.5 receiving yards at 1.5 units, not 1 unit, 1.5.
Max Williams
at the half.
This is that tight end you're talking about.
Yeah, that tight end that nobody knows about, but he's still getting targets on the Cardinals because they just love to pass the ball. But like I said earlier, the 49ers have really been locking down QBs and tight ends. Both. The hell? Am I retarded? Maybe I was looking at somebody else. But I know notably two good tight ends, Goddard and Tunyon of the Packers, were both under 40 yards and both less than 4 receptions, even though they were getting targets up to like in the 8s or averaging up to 8 targets between Goddard. So I think Max Williams is going to come down back to earth. I mean, my man's been in the league, like I said before, like 6 years now, I think. And he's averaged like 15 yards and like less than 2 receptions a game. So even though he might have a late blooming breakout, I think it's just going to be a couple of games here and there. And they're really going to lean more on their guys that have got him there, like Hopkins. They just have A.J. Green now. They have Rondell Moore, Christian Kirk. Like, the list goes on and on. But I think the 49ers can keep it low-scoring game. So I like that one. I got it 1.5 units. Another one I'm banking on is Elijah Mitchell of the 49ers running back. I got his under 61.5. This is going to be for rushing and receiving, so under 61.5 for both of them combined.
I mean, he doesn't do much receiving work anyway, right?
No, so, I mean, he's only played 2.5 games so far, but in the 2.5 games, he's got 2 targets for 11 yards. So primarily used in the running game, so that's why I like it, because it added on another like 20 yards compared to just his rushing. And I really think he's going to be a one-week wonder for the 49ers. I think they're going to really lean on Trey Sermon and give him the starting lead carries or majority of the snaps, just because he's been healthier and he's not coming off an injury. And he did pretty good last week. He had like 19 carries for like 80, now almost 90 yards. So I think they'll give him the lead role. And even if they don't, backfield will be a committee. He's not going to have as many carries as he's used to get it going, Elijah Mitchell. And like you said, the Cardinals defense, even though they're allowing yards, they're still a really solid defense. So I see the game going under, and Mitchell's not going to hit this because he's not really the most explosive player either. And my very last prop, which I really like, but it keeps going up and up and up, and I'm liking it less. But I still like it where it's at. So I'm going to take Zach Moss at over 37.5 rushing yards is what's currently at. I know it got up to as high as 38.
What did you place it at?
I placed it at 33.5. Yeah, I got in early.
That's so low, dude.
Yeah, it was stupid low. I'm like, wow, the starting running back on a really good defensive team versus
Singletary in or out? I don't
he's still in.
Keep track of
yeah,
right.
But they're giving
Zach Moss been looking better.
Yeah, he's looking better. They're giving him the red zone carries more. They're using him more. His snap percentage is in the almost 60s versus Singletary's 40s. He's getting more touches when he's in the game versus Singletary. Bills' offensive line looks a lot better than people anticipated. They're really protecting what's-his-name for days and days. And they're...
Josh Allen,
yeah. And they're doing enough to make holes. And they get the Chiefs this week. Chiefs have never been a shutdown defense.
Especially for rush.
Yeah, and they're not great against the rush. People love to rush against them. The more they can keep Mahomes off the field, they like it better. So I plan on seeing Zach Moss at least 12 carries this game. And if my man can't punch it through, getting 3 yards of carry on against a not great defense, I'll probably never bet on him again. But I got 1 unit on that. I don't know if I said it earlier, but I said 2 units in Elijah. Overall, I feel pretty good about this week. Some of them, the only ones I'm a little hesitant on is the hyper-targeted ones between Devontae and Cooks, just because they're not crazy unders, and they might get the crazy targets. But you said that's all your props, right? You already ran through.
Props.
All right. So
and
keeping it
honest,
low.
I don't have my...
You got no lock?
Well,
you got no parlay?
Well, I don't have a parlay. But I could just tell you. I could just tell you my parlay, and then my lock. I kind of already accidentally said, so I'll just speak of my lock right now. It's right? 5 units for Russell Wilson's under.
What's he at right now?
24.5. He's at 2. He's at 2. Russell Wilson.
2 completions?
2 completions for 3 targets or 3 attempts.
Right, so we're 2 completions halfway through the first. Running times that by 8. So if he's at the same rate he's going, dropped one. So if he's going at the same rate he's going right now, he'll end the game with 16 completions. It's a pretty good damn bet. It's a pretty good lock.
Hopefully it hits. Hopefully we start off with the week hot on Thursday. But just to jump in my parlay, I don't have. I forgot to do the parlay at plus 1,000, but a good parlay that I put into
4 of any of your bets together. It should hit over plus 1,000.
Yeah, I mean we could do it. We could do the one that I really like and see how it happens. Even though a lot of that is during this game, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna take more under 85.5. If you can still get it there, then I'll take that all day. And then I really like Moore. Yeah, I really like Saints minus 2.5. That's 2. We'll take 2 more. What's that one where someone's going under because of DK? Who's the one with the Eagles?
You're talking
Eagles.
About
I don't have
you
it.
said DJ Moore already.
I already said him. Yeah, most of them are for this game. Oh,
Get over.
I'll take the over for Patriots, and then we could just say I don't really have much more.
Take one of mine.
No, we'll just say
you jump on the Clyde train.
Chargers minus 2. That's basically me betting that all my props are gonna hit and my spread. So
okay, so we're going 100 for 100.
Yeah. But real fast, just to put it out there. Obviously, it's not gonna be on my record just because the game's already playing right now. But I got Kupp at over 85.5 yards. It's looking pretty good right now. Metcalf under 70 yards, 70.5 yards. And then I got Rams at plus 5.5. And then I got under 60.5 points total. And I get that for plus 658. Put $10 on it, get $75 back. So hopefully that hits. That will be a huge bounce back for my shitty ass past 2 weeks. But never know. I won't put it on record, but it is. I'm just putting it out there. Hopefully we hit it. Hopefully we get it. You know what I'm saying? If not, we get our money back anyway and site credit because FanDuel's that shit. But what's your parlay?
So I'm picking and choosing my favorite ones. So one of my favorite ones, it's already live and I'm already hating it. But Rams negative 2.5 is my first leg. My second leg is Clyde longest rush under 14.5. Third leg, Devontae Smith under 16.5 receiving yards. And fourth leg, final one, Max Williams under 27.5 receiving yards. You put all 4 of them together, and we got plus 1,076. So let's hope for that. That's 1 unit on that boy. And my last lock, I'm riding a lot of unders on this game. So taking the most prize under that it's going to get overhyped and it's going to have the highest to bet against, I guess you would say, just because he's been rocking out. He's been hitting this over and over every game. Kyler Murray, I got under 285.5 passing yards.
I actually wanted to do the over on that, and then I didn't like it at the over, so I was like, I'm just going to stay away from it.
Yeah. So I think I like the game, it's pretty high. I mean, there's only a few other people that are like in the 300 passing yards. I think Matthew Stafford was at 300 for this game. But it's really up there in passing yards, and I think the 49ers are going to keep that number relatively low. I want to say like 260 or lower. So I feel confident in that. I'm locking it as my lock of the week. Got 5 units on it. Hopefully that boy hits because, you know, when you're locked on hit, it's not a good week usually.
Real fast, I forgot one. I don't know if you call it a prop or whatever. It's under his week 5 specials in FanDuel. I got Cordell Patterson at 50 plus combined rushing and receiving plus a touchdown at plus 200, and I got 2 units on that bitch. His rushing
plus 200, right?
Yeah, his rushing and his receiving, I would imagine if you got it at 50, it would probably be like minus 200 just because he's easily been hitting that over and over and over. So it's just more or less hopefully he gets a touchdown. He's gotten touchdowns in 2 of his 4 games, and then in the 2 he's gotten, he had 2 touchdowns in one and 3 touchdowns in the other one. So it's just hit or miss that he gets a touchdown. Hopefully it happens. I forget who they're playing again. They're playing Jets.
I did the Jets. I took the over in that game, so hopefully
hopefully it hits. As long as he gets that touchdown, I feel really confident. It's plus 200. Take it at 10 units or two units. So hopefully that hits. Anything else? I think that's pretty much it for this week, right?
Yeah, that wraps up this week's bets. I don't know if anybody's been following or following our social medias. Obviously, I jinxed Zach Wilson, and my man went off for his. So congrats to him getting his first dub against the Titans. It's
pathetic.
It's not pathetic. That's
of the Titans.
Impressive. Oh yeah, pathetic on the Titans, but I'm saying it was impressive on his end. Like he made some throws. I'm like, all right, this man's good. This man's good. And I still hate him just because I couldn't share any love. Couldn't cash out on any of those easier ones that he might get. But we'll look for some more giveaways going forward. Maybe Kale will keep losing, and when he does eventually win, he'll hit the spin the wheel.
Jackpot.
No, not the jackpot. Some of them you got to give away your profits. So
you're talking about for spinning of the wheel. Gotcha.
Yeah, so the punishment wheel. So Kale, the 1 week he wins, he'll probably have to give away some of his money, unless he somehow beats me. But it's not going to happen.
It's going to happen this week.
I'm a guru.
My lock is going to hit this game already, so that's already up 5.
What's your lock again?
Russell Wilson under 24.5 attempts. He's at 3 now.
See what happens. Rusty Bussy, man. My man gets moving.
Real fast, just close it out. If you're on FanDuel and you're in Pennsylvania, hopefully you're watching. If you're not, I don't know what you're doing. But spread the love. Penn State versus Iowa. They had it at I think Penn State was +2 or something like that. But now with spread the love, 25 max bet, we're at plus 102. I think it's pretty possible for them to lose by more than 102.
Them games are
wild as shit. 102? That's almost impossible.
I think there's only once that the spread the love came out. I'm like, oh wow, this might actually not hit.
Exactly.
Like if that ever happened, FanDuel would be like, cash out, motherfuckers.
But either way,
it's not gonna happen.
It's a free $25. Just go put your $25 and get it. Spread the love. That's what FanDuel's doing, obviously. So if you're not on that app, get on it real fast, just for this week even. And then just put your money down. But that's all we got for today or this week. I might come together with a couple more bets once prop bets come out on FanDuel, because there really aren't that much right now. Maybe I'll put together my official parlay. Maybe I'll scratch it out and put a real parlay. I might throw
some same game parlay ideas out there.
Right.
Get that promo.
And real fast, I will be betting another $2.50.
$2.50 on what?
$2.50 on another 8-leg spread parlay, and if that hits, I will be splitting half the winnings with you guys again. So let's hope that hits. I'll post it up on our social medias. I'll have Josh post it to Twitter, and then I'll be posting on Instagram. So all you gotta do is view it. You don't have to do anything else other than fucking view it. And if one of those hit, you're gonna get half of it. I'm gonna pick a random person
that
from
shit?
It. What?
We know if they viewed it.
I don't know about Twitter, but Instagram, yeah, it's a story.
Okay.
It also is on our Facebook too.
Give it a like.
Facebook,
it'll be a little easier.
Yeah, give it a like on Twitter.
Tweet.
All you gotta do is view it on Facebook or whatever, and then that way, if it hits and you see someone that got the money, next time all you gotta do is fucking view the damn thing. That's all I'm asking you to do. It's not much. View it, move on with it, and that's it. But that's all we have for this week. Hope you guys have a good week gambling. Take some of your favorites from our favorites, combine them together, have a good week. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Bye.